Story 1. That Google homepage from around 2010. You could customize it and have interactive stuff like a koi pond and games or something. Story 2. The recent menu change at Panera removed every one of the meals that I would get there. I didn't go a lot, but occasionally for something different for lunch and only ordered one of a few items. Story 3. Sears. Buy a refrigerator, basketball, vacuum cleaner, toys, and get the oil changed in your car or tires put on it all in one trip. Story 4. 24-hour shopping at Walmart. It's great to see all the late-night Walmart stories from everywhere. Story 5. Jell-O pudding pops, and honorable mention to Cheesecake Factory chocolate ice cream from the grocery store. Story 6. The lipstick shade that was perfect was discontinued 10 years ago. I still think about that shade whenever I put on my lipstick. Story 7. There was a TV show a number of years ago called Pushing Daisies that I absolutely loved. It was just so different than anything I had seen on TV before. It had a fairy tale storybook sort of feel, but the content of the show steered towards the darker themes. And visually, it was sort of like the Land of Oz in Technicolor. The first season was a critical and rating success, but there was a writer's strike that delayed the show for a while. When the strike finally ended, the show had lost its audience and was canceled after a disappointing second season. The show centers around a guy named Ned who is, for reasons unknown, gifted the power of being able to bring things back to life just by touching them. But there are some weird costs to this. If he touches the revived thing a second time, they die again, but this time permanently. Also, if he doesn't end their life within 60 seconds of reviving them, to keep balance in the universe, another living thing in the general vicinity will unexpectedly die as well. Ned owns a struggling pie bakery, but strikes up a partnership with a private investigator who discovers his curse. When the investigator is trying to solve a murder, Ned will revive the victim, give the investigator 59 seconds to ask them how they died, then touch them again before something else around them dies, and then Ned and the PI split the reward. This works out fine until the victim turns out to be the childhood sweetheart of Ned. And when he revives her, he cannot bring himself to end her life again, so she lives. But the side effect is that he can never touch her or she will die again. So while they are in love, they can never touch. But the three of them continue solving murders and living in tension. Story 8. Those soap drinks that came in the 20-ounce bottles were loved by many during college, up until they disappeared. Edit. I love seeing how everyone had a variety of favorites. It just shows how awesome they were. Story 9. Quiznos steak and mushroom sub on garlic bread. Actually, Quiznos in general. They discontinued a lot of quality and have nearly disappeared as a result. I only know of 3 locations, and it has been a few years since I was at any of them. They may all be gone now. Story 10. Lime Coke. I was so excited they put it back in the freestyle machines, but I need the canned or bottled version. Story 11. Boston Market. A lot of people used to bash it, but their meatloaf, mac and cheese, and cornbread was really good. Story 12. Minute Maid popsicles. They were kind of pyramid-shaped, and you would have to squeeze them. The grape and cherry ones were amazing. It was hard to cut them open, though. Story 13. Taco Bell 7-layer burrito. I'm a vegetarian. Haven't been back to Taco Bell since. They don't listen to their public. They tell you what's going to be on the menu. They're not interested in your opinion. Story 14. Butterscotch dipped cones at Dairy Queen, extra large grilled stuffed burrito at Taco Bell, and actual $6 burgers at Carl's Jr. Story 15. My grocery store used to carry a cheese was from another company called Cheddar Spreada. It was very good and cheaper than Cheese Whiz. It disappeared one day and never came back. Story 16. Watermelon flavored fruit gushers. I think they still technically make the watermelon flavor, but now it only comes in a variety pack. Watermelon is literally the only fruit gusher flavor that I like, so it's not like I'm gonna buy a package just to throw 80% of them away for being the wrong flavor. It's been close to 15 years since I've had a watermelon gusher and my heart hurts. Story 17. My iPhone 12 mini. I don't want more phone. I want less. It fits easily in my front pocket. Lighter and with less screen to crack when it hits the floor. I don't know what I'm going to do when it dies. They stopped making minis with the iPhone 13. Story 18. The old Hot Topic eyeliner. I think it was the brand Skull Candy. It was so smooth and such a deep black. Felt so wonderful to use, and it came off easily with just soap and water. It was so good for years, and then they changed the formula and have since discontinued the product line entirely. I miss that eyeliner so much. Story 19, Star Wars Galaxies. I know some people are keeping it alive with an emulator, but it is just not the same. Story 20, Canada Dry Bold Ginger Ale. It seems like it's not discontinued so much as no stores carry it anymore. It was ginger ale, but not as sweet and more dry. Way better than the typical stuff. Story 21, Chicken Tonight, at least in the United States. On the upside, I learned how to make them all on my own from scratch. Story 22, 24-hour Walmarts. I recall there was nothing like, damn, it's 3 a.m. and I'm hungry, but there's a Walmart 10 minutes away. Nothing is open 24 hours anymore except gas stations, I guess. Story 23, Very Merry Cranberry Spray from Bath and Body Works. None of the other cranberry smells even come close. I coveted my spray until the last drops. Story 24, there were these things in the 1970s called breakfast squares. I think Carnation made them. They were heavily marketed, and they looked like chocolate brownies. I hounded my mom for months to buy them. We were poor, and there were 6 kids in my family, so she wasn't sold on the idea, but I finally wore her down. They were awful. They tasted like wallpaper paste and cardboard. Dry, weird flavor, chalky texture. But declaring my disgust would mean my mom would never again relent when I asked for something stupid. So I doggedly worked my way through the box. By the time that first box was gone, a strange thing had happened. I was addicted. As bad as they were, they had a bizarre allure. I've talked to other people who had the same experience. Clearly, they were laced with some highly addictive compound. I couldn't get enough of them. My mom dutifully bought them for me, and I ate every one. They ceased production within a short period, maybe a year or so. It was shattering. They were my first addiction. I still remember the taste. Story 25. There's a frozen food brand that I think had a graphic similar to Marie calendars. They made a product that was like pizza rolls, but with buffalo chicken. It was delicious and quickly disappeared from the freezer aisles because I guess I was the only one into it. Also, a New York City area ice cream brand did a sweet corn and blackberry preserves flavor that I only got to experience for a single summer. Story 26. About a decade ago, Trader Joe's used to carry frozen chimichangas in a brown wrapper, but unfortunately, they were discontinued at some point. Now, every time I go to Trader Joe's, I gaze longingly at the frozen foods, hoping to see them return one day. So sad. Story 27. Trader Joe's is notorious for having products for a while and then canceling them. I understand they can't keep everything around and rotate them for novelty, but they made the best vegan chicken broth herb mixture, and I haven't found anything like it since. Story 28. King Vitamin Cereal. I used to eat it a lot as a kid, and it was my favorite cereal. It has been discontinued for decades, and I miss it. Story 29. I won't stop on this one. I have messaged the company like a sad piece of sh*t at least 3 times. In turn, they send me coupons for their products that no one likes. Their products still sell because they are cheap. That's the only reason.
Jose ole loaded beef natso himishanga.
You all didn't show up to support, and it went away, and now all frozen burrito options remain flavorless and disappointing. Imagine a frozen burrito that has meat, cheese, peppers, onions, spices, and flavor, and costs next to nothing. Oh no, no one wanted to try that option. They stuck with the bean and beef, bean and cheese, chicken and cheese, no flavor. Boring, tasteless stuff. I will die on this hill. It was as if the pizza roll brand mini triangular tacos had gone to college and got a job. It wasn't its career, but it was its first good job. A career would be fancy restaurateur. Story 30, malls. I miss just going and walking around, getting some cheap food, and wasting time, checking clearances and running into people I knew. Story 31, 1. Haagen-Dazs sticky toffee pudding ice cream. It was heavenly. I miss it so much. 2. Taco Bell's caramel apple empanadas. 3. Blackberries. I loved having actual buttons to press. Story 32, Jones Soda. Before the proliferation of digital cameras, you could send them a picture of anything, and they would print various submissions on their labels. The taste was, alright, edit. I had no idea they still exist. Used to buy them at Sheetz in Virginia all the time, but I haven't seen them in years. Thanks for letting me know, everyone. Story 33, Chocodiles. Like a chocolate-covered Twinkie but better, with a thick, harder shell of chocolate all over, even on the bottom. Those were my go-to when I was a kid. Story 34, the mid-2010s version of iTunes that I found very easy to use, sort, and it worked perfectly for me. Then they tweaked it and completely ruined it. Story 35, not discontinued, but they changed the Cinnamon Life cereal formula, and it might as well be discontinued. Absolute garbage now. Story 36, just about every fast food place that had macaroni bites doesn't seem to do them anymore. I loved those things. Story 37, Chiclets. Multicolored juicy fruits were an acceptable alternative, but it has been harder and harder to find those now too. Story 38, those scented markers. Bring back those air fresheners. Absolutely nothing in this existence smelled more chemically, synthetic, or cancerous than those. Story 39. Not sure if this counts, but Sears and Kmart completely gave a really comforting liminal feeling we'll never experience again. Story 40. Menthol shower bombs, similar to those made by VapoRub, were something you'd place in the tub when you had a cold. Taking a hot shower with one would really open up your sinuses. Unfortunately, I cannot find them anywhere now. Story 41. I'm a huge fan of Asian trail mix, not the wasabi peas and everything like it has been recently. I got the taste for it when my dad was in the Navy, and we could use his ID to get on the local Air Force base and shop at the commissary, which is where I found the Happy Cracker mix. When he died, my access to the base disappeared. Years later, I found something similar at a gas station of all places. Went back to restock, and they had remodeled the store and removed their trail mix stock. Eventually, I discovered that Walmart carried this Asian trail mix in a pink bag that was just right. Assorted rice crackers, dried peas, sesame sticks, etc. So good. Naturally, it got discontinued. Harris Teeter carries a similar mix, but the wasabi peas just aren't as good as the standard dried peas. Story 42, iPhone Mini. The only normally sized phone on the market. I am a dude with big hands. I am a dude, so I have pockets. But if I wanted a tablet, I would get an iPad. Story 43. I don't have a specific thing, but it seems like every time I find a shoe I like, the next time I go to buy a new pair, they don't make that shoe anymore, and I have to restart the process of finding a new daily shoe that I like. Story 44. Tangerine Altoid sour candies. My mom used to get these all the time, and I would take some every time I was near her purse. By the time I was old enough to have my own money to buy them, they were discontinued due to poor demand. It makes me sad every time I think about it. I loved those little sour orange candies. Story 45. There used to be 24-hour grocery stores and other places in my city. Now there are only 24-hour gyms. Story 46. Lime Starburst. When I was a kid in the 1970s, it was lemon, lime, orange, and strawberry. They removed lime and gave us cherry instead. Boo.